Hey, this is Christopher from wholenessgeeks.com, and this is the third video in a series of meditations that correspond to the Enneagram types. So this is the meditation for type 3. Just to review a little bit, we started off with type 1, which is breathing into the Dantien. Type 2, which is the pulse, and that can be as sort of big and simple as the heartbeat, or it can be pulse that you feel really anywhere in the body. Now, for type 3, this is where it starts to get a little more interesting. We're going to use as a meditation object. In type 1, the meditation object was the Dantien and breath or respiration. In the second type, the meditation object was the location of the heart, and the meditation object being pulse. In this third one, that meditation object is going to be something visual. It's going to be the six-pointed star. Now, the six-pointed star, why I like using the six-pointed star is because it's a symbol of a few things, but one of the things it's a symbol of is a symbol of both involution and evolution. In other words, it's a balance between heaven and earth. It's a balance between spirit and matter. It's also in the Hindu tradition. It's a symbol of the heart chakra. Another reason why I like using the six-point star is because it's I would refer to it as being safe in terms of being, the potential for a symbol being manipulated and turned into something to use for like black magic. The six-pointed star is actually well, I'll share my screen here and I'll show you. So just hold on a sec here while I move to that. So yes, if you look at the symbol here, if you were to let's go ahead and let's flip this vertically. Well, if you flip it vertically, you still have a six-pointed star, so it's a very kind of safe and deep. It's a profound image. So we're going to be using this as a meditation object, and we're going to be moving around the sides of the triangle. And what I mean by that is that if we start at the base of this upward facing triangle, right? So we go. By the way, this triangle symbolizes involution, in other words, spirit coming into matter, and then this triangle, the one with the point facing up, symbolizes evolution, in other words, matter matter moving into spirit. So if we start at the base of the upward facing triangle, we move from here to here to here, and then if we move to the base of the downward facing triangle, from here to here to here, that is the way we will sort of operate with this visual symbol. And by the way, a visual symbol in the Hindu tradition is called a yantra. You know, like a mantra is a repeating sound. A yantra is a repeating visual symbol. So we're going to practice moving like this, right? We're gonna do that, and we're gonna, you know, we can see it concretely here in the image, but we can also see it in our mind's eye. Now, I'm going to bring in another meditation object, and that object is pulse. So in other words, we're going to feel pulse at each side of the triangle. I mean, of the triangles, the 6-pointed stars. This is also called the interlacing triangles. So in other words, the pulse is going to be what drives us around this visual shape. So, and if you need to, you can go ahead and put your hand on your heart, and I forget if I mentioned it in the last video, but a place where I feel the pulse very strongly is in what's called the xiphoid process. That's the soft area that's right below the top of your rib cage. You know, where your rib cage kind of comes to like the top of a triangle. Right below that, there's a soft area, and so if you really need to kind of locate your pulse and have a really, you know, concrete representation of that, just put your fingers there. But we're going to do a meditation here, and like we usually do it, we'll do it for a minute and 11 seconds, and we're simply going to feel ourselves move around. So we're moving first we're moving counterclockwise, and then we're moving clockwise. And so, right, we're going counterclockwise like that, and then we're going clockwise like that, and we're letting the pulse drive our movement around the interlacing triangles, or the 6-pointed star. So let's go ahead and begin. I'm going to go and press the timer. So we're going to start the timer, and we'll do that for a minute and 11 seconds. Okay, so we're back from that meditation. So just a couple of comments that, you know, it's like the rate of your pulse, whatever that is, if it's fast or slow, that determines how fast you move around the triangle. So you're kind of surrendering to the pulse as the governor of the movement around the sides of this triangle. Okay, so now we're gonna add another element, actually another two elements. We're gonna add the breath, and we're going to add the Dantien. Actually, three elements, because we're going to. I found that with the six-pointed star, it's I personally I found that it's really good to anchor this star. It can be um, a very kind of transcending element, and so to anchor it in the Dantien is a really good thing. It really kind of it gives a an it gives a necessary, for me, a necessary counterpart to that kind of upward energy. And so that's why I employ the Dantien. But so I think we'll do this in steps. So now I want to do the same thing. I want to do the same thing, but I want to do it in the Dantien, and I want to add respiration, right? So breathing. So we're not only feeling the pulse in the Dantien, we're feeling our breathing there too, and and we're going around the sides of the triangle. So let's go ahead. So like I said, we're going to do this in steps. So this next minute and 11-second meditation is doing exactly what we just did, except now we're bringing our focus down to the Dantien, and we're adding breath. Now I just want to I just want to make sort of forewarn that the breath can easily sort of dominate the pulse. So once again, we're actually allowing the pulse to sort of to set the pace. But the breath is included, okay? But the breath is sort of um, it's taking second seat to the pulse. Okay, so here we're gonna do this another short meditation, minute and 11 seconds. Move around the sides of this triangle, starting with the base of the upward facing triangle. We're going here, 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 and then here, here, here. Let the pulse drive it, but actually breathe as you're doing that. So here we go. Okay, we're back. So, and you might have noticed that you actually the way you were pacing yourself, moving around the sides of these interlacing triangles, was to breathe in and out on each side. That's fine. And what you might have noticed is that there were several pulses within each in and out breath, and that's fine. The important thing is to not lose track of the pulse by letting the breath dominate. And the reason the breath there is a tendency for the breath to dominate is because it's more controllable. We have more control over breathing than we do of the pulse. And so it's just kind of a natural thing that the thing we have more control of, we it it we it tends to dominate. But the what I've found is that the balance, between, if the masculine is control, and the surrender is the feminine, the balance between the two is that the masculine actually supports the feminine. And there's actually a hexagram in the I Ching, which is specifically about that. It's hexagram 17, and it's about the masculine being in service to the feminine. Okay, so like I said, we're going to do this in steps. Now there's one more step that I want to add here, and this gets might be a little challenging for some, to be adding all these things together, but I'm going to go ahead and include it so that this can be a complete meditation, what I would consider a complete meditation. So we're going to do everything the same as we did. We're going around the sides of the triangle. We're in our Dantien. We're feeling the pulse. We're breathing. But now we're going to do something specific with the breathing. And what we're going to do is we're going to breathe we're going to breathe, if this is a line right here, this bottom side of the upward facing triangle, we're going to breathe around the side. In other words, it's like, there's a principle in the American Indian tradition and other traditions too, called the hoop and the tree. And so what we're doing is, this side of this upward facing triangle is like a tree, and we're breathing like a hoop around the tree. So we're breathing in centripetally, meaning we're breathing clockwise. And then when we go to the next one, we're going to breathe, we're doing a hoop again, but this time we're breathing out centrifugally. In other words, we're breathing counterclockwise. So we're going in, out, in, out, in, out. And we just continue with that pattern. So I'm just going to, just to make this totally clear for some people who might sort of be confused at this point, we're doing everything the same. We're moving around the sides of the triangle. We're doing it from our Dantien, right? That 3 points below the navel, 3 points in, right? So really giving this a physical kind of anchor. We're feeling the pulse and the breath, but now we're doing something very specific with the breath, which is that we're breathing like it's like a spiraling around the sides of the triangle. And when we're breathing in, we're going clockwise, and when we're breathing out, we're going counterclockwise. So it's in, out, in, out, in, out, and it just kind of continues in that way. Now, like I explained in the last step that we just did before this, that there's a tendency for the breath to dominate. And doing this spiraling is going to increase the tendency for the breath to dominate. So once again, we want to really allow the pulse to kind of drive the pace around the triangle. So without further ado, let's go ahead and spend another minute and 11 seconds doing this yantra meditation with the 6-pointed star. incorporating the Dantien, the pulse, and the breath. So let's go ahead and begin. Okay. So yeah, another comment. So you may have noticed that this kind of interplay between the pulse and the respiration here. There's like, it's like you the, take the in breath, and that might, in a sense, there might be kind of like a moving ahead with that, but then you surrender and allow the pulse to come, and like I said, you might experience, like 3, 4, 5, 6 pulses with that, and then you move on to the next line. And so excuse me, there's obviously a lot going on with this meditation, and for me, it's an experience. I'm going to stop my share now. It's an experience of multiple levels of my being. It's the obviously it's bringing, the visualization is bringing the third eye, but in the Dantien, it's making that physical. The pulse is brings in the emotional element, the breathing, and a feminine kind of element. The breathing brings in a more masculine, and also kind of an objective element, especially the spiraling around the sides. If you do this a while, you might notice, there's a tendency to kind of almost zero in on a, almost like a trance or emotion, but then the spiraling actually creates an objectivity along with that. So it's very powerful meditation, and yeah, I'd really like to hear how doing this 10 minutes a day, 10 minutes twice a day would be ideal. How that, and to do that for a week, and to go ahead and, write down any you know your experience with that, any um, just, yeah, kind of create a record of how that works for you and what you experience in the process. I'd be very interested. So once again, I'm Christopher McCord. This is wholenessgeeks.com, and this is the third video in this series of meditations that correspond to the types, Enneagram types, and this was for Enneagram type 3. Thank you so much.